guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. I really found this study about OnlyFools users and the statistics of it extremely interesting. I saw a little blurb somewhere, I don't remember where, that was talking about some of the issues on this page, and one of them really stood out, and which is it's not single men that are the primary users of OnlyFools. And I said, really? Here we've been making fun of young, lonely, single dudes wanting the girlfriend experience, signing on to OnlyFools and spending their money and simping. And it turns out it's not the young single guys doing it. I, for one, this is a correction against me as well. Yeah, I try to be accurate with the stuff that I say, and I'm sure I get a ton of things wrong. But I try to find different data points and things. And yes, like all people, I try to find things that support my view of the world. That's just how I've never said I'm a completely independent journalist. I got my opinion on things. So when I've always razzed on these guys for dudes, stop spending the money. It's not the single guys doing it. So this is from Tech Report, and they do surveys and things like that. They say OnlyFools statistics for 2024, exploring the platform's users, creators, and earnings. I said, hey, this is interesting. How many women are blowing their lives away to earn $180 in a ham sandwich for showing their ham sandwich on the internet? They say OnlyFools allows creators to earn income by sharing content with their fans for a monthly subscription fee. During 2020, the platform went from a niche online space to an internet phenomenon. But have you ever wondered how creators on OnlyFools make a living? How does OnlyFools work? Who uses it, and what is the average income of OnlyFools creators? In this article, we'll explore the earnings, examining the demographics. We'll look into the profitability, etc. So they say, what's the primary purpose? Obviously, we know what that is. And they show the rise here, which you can see, of Substack, Gumroad, Bandcamp, Cameo, Outschool, Twitch, Patreon, and then OnlyFools. OnlyFools from basically January of 2020 took off like a rocket ship. I thought you'd like some of these statistics, and that's why we're going to share it. How many creators are using it to monetize their content? Here are some surprising details. How much does the average person make on OnlyFools? Business Insider spoke with 8 models, and their reported annual earnings ranged from $143,000 annually, a year, to $5.4 million. Now, those obviously are the 0.01 percenters, right? They say the top earners on OnlyFools make $100,000 or more monthly. OnlyFools dedicates a $20 fee from every subscription and the remaining 80% to the content creator. So if somebody's making $5.4 million, $1 million of that OnlyFools made. And then the other 80% made the top creator $5.4 million. So you can see why OnlyFools is buying ads and running stories in major newspapers, and they're pushing so hard for young women. Oh, it's a side hustle, or you can become rich, or you can be like these women driving around Lamborghinis and stuff if you join us, because they make a lot of money from But here's the thing. In another survey found that the average OnlyFools creator earns around $180 monthly. Now let's break that down. There's 30 days in a month. That's $6 a day. That's $6 a day the average OnlyFools content creator makes. So she's putting her starfish and she's putting her ham sandwich out on the internet for $6 a day. These statistics are based on a sample of creators and may not represent all creators on the platform, obviously. OnlyFools has the full picture, they say. OnlyFools has 170 million users with up to 500,000 users joining daily. The platform has 1.5 to 2 million content creators. So there's 2 million starfishes and ham sandwiches, or at least the majority of them. Yes, there's men on there, and yes, there's artists, I'm sure. But that's not what it's primarily used for. They say, here's what's interesting. The most popular OnlyFools creators take the majority of the platform's earnings. According to a 2020 article by Thomas Hollins, the top 1% of OnlyFools accounts make 33% of all income, while the top 10% earn 73%. So 10% of the women and the content creators on OnlyFools make almost 75% of the money. That means 90% of the people, the content creators, are getting paid 25% of the money. That's not a whole lot of money to spread around by gender. Men, 87%. Women, 10%, and 3% haven't denoted. Americans, 50%. And then UK is next, 7%, Canada 5%, Germany 3%, Austria 3%. So, but obviously, United States is also the most populous country. We've got as many people as, like all of Europe combined. They say 4% of American adults are planning to become an OnlyFools content creator. That I was like, are you kidding me? 4% of American adults, which is obviously women. So if you say women are 50% of the population, that's the equivalent of 8% of all Americans. But it's 4% of all Americans, which is probably 4% women. 4% of women out there, guys, 4% of women out there want to become OnlyFools content creators. But here's the part that I found surprising. Oh, here it is right here. Most surprisingly, almost 90% of the OnlyFools users in the survey are married. 90% of the users in the survey were married. The users are almost 90% men, 10% women, 3% other. It's 87% men, 10% women, 3% other, unknown, right? So 90% of the users are men, and 90% of the users are married. It is men that are looking at the OnlyFools content. It is men, but it's not the single guys that are looking for the girlfriend experience. It's not the single guys that are lonely. It's not the single guys that can't connect with a woman. It's not the single guys really at all. That means 10% of the guys on there are single. It's 90% are married. Now, why are 90% of the users on OnlyFools, why are they married? Because they're unhappy in their marriage. They're missing they're missing a connection with their wife. Their wife is not attracted to them anymore. They need something that's more exciting and more spicy, or they want the interaction. Their money is good, and they just feel like, hey, you know what? It gives me a variety of things to look at and have fun with. But why would you need to do that unless you weren't really into your wife anymore, or unless things weren't going well, or unless she wasn't treating you well? Any way you look at this, it means that men are not being fully satiated. Men are not being fully appreciated. Men are not being fully fulfilled in their marriages. Now, when that happens to a woman, what does a woman do? She quits. She taps out of the marriage. She divorces. She leaves with the cash and prizes, and she moves on with her life. And the guy's in misery because now she got to leave and take cash and prizes, and he's suffering. What happens when a guy is in the same place? He can't leave. He can't just walk away, because she, again, will get the cash and prizes and the bailout, and she gets the rewards. Women leaves, gets rewards. Man leaves, woman gets rewards. Every way penalizes the men. So what are the men doing? This is a bedroom that is not working for guys anymore. And these 90% of users on OnlyFools that are men, it's not working for them anymore. They say the study found a very small, although statistically significant difference in the attitudes among OnlyFools users and non-users. OnlyFools users were slightly more accepting of casual hookups, but also more likely to view sex as highly intimate. So they're a little bit more a viewing of casual is fine, but they were also saying it's much more intimate. So those married guys that are on here are saying, hey, it is kind of intimate to actually be with somebody, to actually sleep with somebody. I'm not going to do that. Either I'd get penalized in the divorce, or the bedroom's kind of dead, but it's not that, it's not that bad. And so what are they doing? They're finding things that excite them on the side, but they're not cheating, at least not cheating as much as you'd think, because they do still see it as, a very personable thing. They say, keep in mind, this is just one study of 335 male users based in the U.S. This data can give us a starting point. It's still hard to paint a definitive picture of the average person. So they say, conclusion, it's grown, lots of people joining, but it's not the single guys. That surprised me. It's not the single guys that are the statistics. 90% of the users are married men, something's gone wrong, or the woman, or the marriage, or it's just not doing it for them anymore, but they are still married. So they haven't tapped out and left and become a single guy. I find this interesting. To me, now, of course, I'm biased, but to me, this tells me there's a lot of married men that the bedroom's not working for them anymore. Maybe the wife's gained some weight either before or after popping out kids. Maybe she's not taking care of herself. Maybe she doesn't flirt with him. Maybe he doesn't feel like, maybe he feels like communicating with some of these content creators gives him some attention or some validation. I don't know. But it does tell me that marriage, it's another feather in the hat saying marriage for a lot of men isn't working today. And I think that's pretty clutch. Guys, if you like this content, join me, betterbachelor.locals.com. Hop on over to Rumble if you're not over here. There's content that is not on YouTube. I'm just not uploading it to YouTube. It's going on betterbachelor.locals.com. It's going to Rumble. It's exclusive to those. YouTube has become way too nanny state and way too touchy about what they let me upload, and I'm just not. I'm trying to put it over on YouTube, but YouTube fights me on it, and if they fight me on it, I'm just not going to put it up. I'm not going to put videos up on YouTube where they show you ads and they make money and they get the bonus and they get the cash and prizes, but then don't let the creators get any of that cut. Because that's what they do when they demonetize a video. You'll still see the ads. YouTube will take their cut for showing you the ads. They leave the content creator out. I'm not doing that anymore. So come over on alternative platforms. I'd appreciate it if you did. And we will see you in the next one.